Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is the Divine Masculine check-in, and on the pre-shuffle I'm hearing, what are they realizing in real time? What's going on in the masculine's 3D reality in their material realm? What would they say to the feminine about it? And how are they feeling about the things that they are experiencing right now? How is that affecting the connection? But first off, I'm going to pull one card and ask, what is changing? What is shifting energetically in the connections at this time? So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. All right, seal of indivisible vision, psychic vision, hidden meanings, dream reading. These masculines are becoming very astute with their wizardry skills. They are tuning in to the feminine on a psychic level that you may be absolutely shocked, surprised, taken aback to understand. And in this energy, feminines, I'm getting that you think you're the psychic one. But these masculines, they have the masculine side of that ability. It's the instinct, the hunter, the tracker, the knowing. It's coming online for them in an even deeper way. And I'm getting, because of the work that you're doing, Divine Feminines, it allows your masculine to tune into your actual frequency more clearly than they ever have before. Can you imagine if you're not in alignment, your static energy kind of diffuses your what you emit? That's starting to harmonize, synchronize, align, and your masculines are able to hone in on it way more clearly. Like they can pick up on you like nobody's business. Something's going on there, feminine. So I am hearing good work, aligning. All right, let's get into this. So what can we see? Thank you, Divine Creator, for showing us. What are these masculines thinking and feeling about these connections based on what's happening in their material realm? What would they say to their feminines about the things unfolding on their side of the energy and in their daily lives? And what are the emotions that these masculines are having and processing and experiencing due to the things that are playing out? I am very much guided to say, as within, so without. And this is a very nice awakening for the masculines because they're becoming much more conscious of their internal dialogue, atmosphere, storylines, and they're witnessing things playing out. It goes hand in hand with your energy, feminines. Okay, here we go. Conscious mind about the connections. What's going on in the masculine's realm? Emperor in the inverse. Wow, what I really heard was they are usurping their father's throne. Whoa. Let me just unpack that for a moment. So this is a rite of passage where these masculines are realizing they have surpassed the developmental stage of their fathers. So this is where they are taking the torch and forgiving their fathers for their shortcomings, whether that's circumstances. I'm getting for a lot of these masculines, their fathers are no longer in the picture for some reason. Either they've passed on, their health has been compromised, or there are some abandonment stories. That's not for everyone, but there's something about these masculines giving themselves permission to go beyond the example that their father offered them. What would they say to the feminine about this right now? I think we should see other people. Okay. So I'm not actually getting this as the first message regarding other romantic energies, what I'm getting here is that these masculines are wanting to look up to other male role models that are not necessarily their father. They're wanting to get some more examples outside of the modeling that their fathers gave them. Professionals, counseling, men's groups. And if this resonates, hit up Robbie, who I do the podcast on Thursdays with. He leads a men's group online. What I'm getting from this are the masculines want to start giving themselves permission to supersede their father's developmental stage, and that they are looking for other mentors. I'm not actually getting a third party thing here. I'm just getting that these masculines are no longer feeling like they're going to betray their father if they look for mentorship outside of that bond. Wow, what is the emotion this is creating for the feminine? Peace. I'm a being of love and I release all negative energy. So there's been something about the disappointments of their father or regrets. Such a beautiful movie called Smoke Signals, and in it it says, do we forgive our fathers in our lifetime or theirs? It's like that. And so they understand that this deep peace that they have, that has been elusive in your connection, this came out in the inverse, is connected with them holding back because of the shortcomings of the connection with their father, or the perceived shortcomings of their own father. They haven't given themselves permission to go beyond what was modeled to them. If they give themselves permission to go beyond what was modeled to them, they step into peace. But they're just at this doorway where they're realizing the subconscious effect that their father has had on their development and what they have allowed themselves or not to do regarding romantic relationship. This is huge. So they truly are seeing timelines diverge. If they align with this love, it represents something more successful than the love they saw modeled by their fathers. Okay, masculines, this is significant. This is wonderful. What can we see? I heard forgiveness is the key. What can we see for how these masculines are thinking of the feminine? What's going on in their reality? Wow, they're not seeing holy matrimony as an example, as the norm in the reality around them. So they're seeking any examples that would be healthier or more stable or more whole or more balanced or more peaceful than this connection with you feminines. They're looking around themselves and they cannot find something that can better this. Not that it's a competition, but they do not see anything that can hold a candle to what they feel is possible in love with you on a deep human and soul level. An innate level, they know that what the two of you share transcends the examples, not only from their father, but from society around them. What would they say to you? You are wrong in the inverse. I know I've given you the impression that I haven't chosen you. Wow, all this red. I'm hearing they want to ground this. They were trying to look for normal examples of this connection in their orbit, in their environment. They could not normalize this connection. And at the beginning, they thought that meant that this was the odd thing out. Now they understand this is the template. This is what other connections would strive to be. They've radically shifted their perspective 180 on that. Instead of this being unusual as a negative. It's now unusual as a forerunner. My goodness. What can we see for how this makes them feel for the feminine? Change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And so they know they need to make this change, that this is a necessary change to become aware of in order to validate this connection to themselves, in order to transcend, supersede their known reality. They have to make that change from seeing this connection as the odd one out to the new norm, the trailblazing, the example, the template. What can we see is going on in the masculines around them that is affecting the heart space of the connection? Divine timing. So some synchronistic chain of events has unfolded around these masculines in their daily life, in their reality, that has opened their eyes to them having outgrown the developmental stage of their father and of relationships in society around them. 11:11. Something was divinely shown to them. What would they say to their feminine about this? Let me hold you. Life is short. They just want to be with you. If you've been getting those cuddle vibes lately, feminines, you're not wrong. So yeah, there's some sentimental energy here today because these masculines are craving home energy, the soul's home with you. And they don't see that invitation or that availability in general relationships in the world. I just heard, I now realize we are the change we wish to see in the world. I've been looking for it out there. We have it in there. Wow. Okay, what can we see for how they are feeling? Grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So these masculines have been training themselves to let go of attachment. They have systematically looked at these connections with every lens they could. A microscope, I just heard. They've put it under scrutiny because it is so different. It's not that they didn't feel the chemistry, the pull, the desire, feminines at all. It's just that they are analytical and they are scientists and they want to know what this is and they want to study it. They want to understand it. They are coming to the consensus that this is something they do not want to lose. Something, though, has caused them, and I'm not ruling out a dream because we get the words dream reading here with this psychic visions. There's something inseparable about the two of you that if they were to lose this connection, they would always feel a void. Now, I have to say, I have had that telepathic message in my own inner dialogue over the last couple of days, at least once, possibly twice, where it really is this energy of knowing that there would not be a better match, or that it's a tough one to conceive of, at very least, that no other example compares. And so there is an energy of a brink here, but not a neediness, not a desperation. What I'm feeling is that these masculines have entertained the thought, possibly had a dream, that this connection was final. And that is not the sort of energy that they want to entertain. I also just got with this Wheel of Fortune that for some of these masculines, they've talked to an elder, someone other than their father, a grandparent, potentially an uncle, a family friend, another masculine energy. I just saw a masculine in a diner with an older gentleman and just getting life advice, not necessarily about the feminine, but the masculine, the divine masculine asking this mentor, asking this family friend, whomever it was, for advice on life. And this mentor telling it like it is: when you find love, don't let it go. That everything is sacred. And even if it doesn't look easy on the surface, if you know it's love, trust that. So there's some validation, there's some permission for these masculines to embrace the truth of these connections, even if they are not established norms. 1555 when I said that. So major changes here. What can we see for what's going on in the masculine's realities, in their material realms, that is influencing the heart of hearts here? Woo, we got the Queen of Pentacles. This is my wifey card. In the inverse, they have you so deep in their heart. Through everything now, you've become in an essential aspect within them, that as they go about their day, you are under constant consideration. Your energy is permeating their reality. They do not feel single from you, feminines. Each person they see, they compare you to. Each thought that they have about relationship, you are central. What would they say to you here? No, in the inverse. So we got two red cards, the you are wrong and the no. I heard I haven't meant what I've said. So wow, all of this energy right now, this is also impacting the masculines greatly. This little axis of stepping beyond where their fathers have been able to attain regarding love and relationships, that awareness is going hand in hand with these masculines understanding that if they have given you the wrong impression about their love for you, or the lack of love for you, or they have flat out said that you are not right for them, or that they don't want this, specifically those two things, they are realizing those were connected with not wanting to supersede their father's ability in love, status in love, or the patterns that they learned from their fathers about navigating love. So unconditional love here, feminines, because this is deep soul level, generational, curse breaking kind of stuff. Your masculines have right from the beginning never thought of you in a negative way, but they just didn't know how to make sense of the connection. And this is part of that reconciliation process, which does go hand in hand with dismantling karma and doing the healing and stepping onto life purpose. And also, you know, part of that healing is this generational curse breaking that transcends what their own fathers have been able to model. What is the emotion in the heart of hearts here? So we're getting down to really core root chakra healing. Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. So exactly, this is that acknowledgement of the times they've said no to you, the times they've said no to this connection, the times they have said that you were wrong for them or that they didn't think you were right. They regret it. They're trying not to regret it because they want to activate, because they see you as this life partner. They see you as the one. Ooh, so now I think I'm seeing a very clear picture of why they're grieving here. It's because they've said those things or they've given you that impression, and yet that is opposite of how their heart truly feels for you. What can we see for what's going on in their realities based on what they are wanting to manifest here? They're beginning to free themselves from overthinking or feeling trapped and powerless. This is a deep subconscious constraint because they've been trying to honor their fathers. When our parents are wounded and they don't do the healing, it affects children on a deep subconscious level, and it's like we hold in these patterns waiting for our parents to evolve before we do, because that's the natural sacred order of an ideal scenario, that parents evolve and grow lifelong and the children follow suit. But many of these relationships or these parents have not been able, for whatever reason, to continue that progress. And so these masculines are seeing themselves taking that torch in the relay race of the river of life, and they are seeing where they've been holding back out of pretense. Ooh, the wifey card just flipped into the upright, right into my lap. Interesting. So something just changed while this was going on. And I'll take the omen that they have literally been holding themselves back from marrying you, feminines, from taking commitment to another level because of whatever this thing is with their fathers. I'm getting that they are really seeing through any of the pretense, any of the excuses, any of the things they've told themselves about not being ready for this connection. As they're seeing the connection to their father and their own subconscious holding back, they're starting to validate their readiness. Why should we not be together? They can't uphold their own excuses anymore here. Okay, what would they say to you? I'm too afraid to talk to you. I'm clearly hearing, now that I see myself clearly in this way, for this aspect, this mechanism within me that has given you the wrong impression and put the brakes on this, I'm too afraid right now to tell you that I see the error of my ways. I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know how to tell you that I've loved you all along and expect that you would believe me. There's a little bit of a coming to God moment I'm feeling here, because these masculines realize that they were not holding back because that's what their heart wanted them to do. They were holding back because of fear. How is this causing them to feel? Friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. You're the one person that hasn't abandoned them. They are saying they've kept you hanging on by a thread in direct proportion to how much their heart did know under the surface that you were right for them. And so they may have kept you, at arm's length in a friendship capacity, but the blessing that you stayed is really validating what their heart has known about you all along, that you've kept that door open, feminines. Your masculines have realized that's another proof that this is real love. Nobody else would have stayed through the way this has unfolded. And they know it. That's why they're afraid to say it. When that sinks in, though, masculines, it's going to be easier to find the words, because your feminine would have left already if they were meant to, so you don't really have to have the fear, but let's let it all play out. Hey, everybody, what can we see for the actions? What's going on in the masculine's worlds that are inspiring their actions at this time? Yeah, this is the proposal card. They are gathering their own internal permission to come forward, and I'm seeing proposal here. This is typically a masculine riding in from the battle to crown their bride-to-be. This is my proposal card. So they are dreaming about proposing to you, how it would play out, what that would look like. But more importantly, they're giving themselves permission to acknowledge you that way as this wifey energy. Whatever this process of reconciliation is with their father, it is causing them to really validate that you are the one for them and it's not just a fantasy. What would they say about this? Do you even see me that way? So they are really starting to take it to heart that they hold you in such high esteem that it would be absolutely hypocritical for them to say that the things that you, of all people, have expressed to them about how you feel about them are wrong, because they hold your character in such high regard. It's hypocritical of them to reject then the way you feel about them, because they admire you as a person so much, if that makes sense. And so it's sinking in that you've actually seen them this way, that it's absurd to reject you feeling that way for them, being that they trust your character so deeply. So there's a self-worth here coming to the forefront for these masculines that is not their insecurity. It's this burden, this overburden that they've been carrying from their fathers and their fathers' shortcomings. So they've been representing something that hasn't been authentic to them as a stigma. And when they put that down, they can embrace the way that you have told them you see them. Because they can say, wait a second, I'm not my father. I don't have to be in those shoes, in that role. I don't have to uphold that limitation. My goodness, everybody, this is an amazing reading. I just heard share it far and wide. If you have been watching my videos, please like, share, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this far, what's wrong? You subscribe, comment. So we're going to hit that algorithm and get it over 20,000. But YouTube isn't recommending my stuff because it needs to get in the flow again here. So do your part. Do your part. Emotions for the feminine. Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. So this is a deep, deep inspired epiphany that they're having here about perpetuating their father's name, let's say. Ideally, we uphold our father's honor. They've been upholding their father's limitations, and this has been the indecision. If they want to honor their fathers, they have to thrive. If they want to uphold the status quo, they shrink and they don't choose this love. Wow. What can we see for... So they've needed to see it this way. In part, this is one of the reasons that these connections haven't come together, but this is also one of the awarenesses of mastery that is required for them to confidently choose the feminine on all these deep, deep subconscious levels. Mastery is a multi-dimensional awareness. It is not just a mundane level of perception. And that is why we get the psychic vision and hidden meanings and this deep subconscious expansion going on at this time. What's happening in these masculines' worlds that is challenging, that is causing them to be challenged in this connection most? The star, this date with destiny, I just heard. Something, that divine timing, something has happened right now, recently, or in near future. I'm getting like a 5-day before this reading, 5-day after, that you could not make it up. The timing is so precise. What would they say about this? You matter. So they are getting the memo that they matter. Their growth matters. This love matters to them because they feel it on their heart. Whatever it is that they have felt that they have needed to uphold has been in sharp contrast to what their heart has actually been telling them to go for here. What is the emotion? Surrender. I can release my need to control. That is the very first card we got, was the Emperor in the inverse. Emperor also is Saturn energy, and it's Saturn just went direct. And so this is also the brakes, the gas being pushed again. And it's funny because when we surrender, we think that we're gonna stop, but actually surrender means stop pumping the brakes here and actually allow the thing to roll forward. What can we see for what's going on in their lives that is the solution? Unconditional love. So I just heard they're not feeling like they have to choose their father's developmental capacity or this love. It doesn't need to be. Unconditional love has room for all those energies to be here. What would they say to you? I need more balance. So this is the tipping point. This is the balance that they needed. They needed to consciously see that they were holding back, at least in this part of the spectrum, in this way. They've needed to see the psychology of some of their indecision for what it is here. And now that they have, it's like, that makes sense. What can we see for the emotion? Courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. So this has been one of the things that they didn't know how to express or to pinpoint or to articulate, that they were not doing this as an insult to injury. They were not choosing a love like this or aligning with a grand love like this to hurt their father. You know, it's almost like they wanted so much for their father to have the love of a lifetime, to enjoy thriving as a man or as a masculine, right? And so if their father wasn't able to fulfill that kind of destiny, these masculines were holding back almost out of this false piety. And now that they're realizing it's not a competition with their own father, there's some really deep mother wounding and mother energy here. If these masculines ever heard their mothers criticizing their fathers for not being more, for not stepping up, for not getting beyond this cap, then these masculines are also holding back out of pretense to honor the mother. So there's a lot of representing the father and the mother and breaking free here generationally. And the true courage comes in when these masculines say, I have a right to live my life in love and to supersede the cap of where my parents were able to. Now, as individuals, these parents may have gone on to other relationships and found other love, mother and father, but when they came together to create the life that is this masculine's physical incarnation, there were these limitations on their ability for love directly as it pertains to the development of these individual masculines. Okay, so this is a courageous energy coming in that has to do with to each their own, unconditional love, individualism, and individuating. What can we see for, what do we get? The direction in the near future. What's happening in the masculine's lives? Inner progress. So there's a deep processing going on in these masculines' lives. It's interesting because there's a mother and child here. Now, this could be their own mother with that message that just came through. It's like, whereas their own father may not have been able to create this safe container for their own mother, by these masculines stepping into masculine leadership in their life, they transcend those paradigms and essentially, you know, when parents do achieve divine love, relationships, the children are equipped with those light codes, those templates, those patterns, and they go on to thrive. When we break a generational curse, even if our parents had limitations, we go on to thrive. So the thriving of the masculines and feminines in this collective honors the parents regardless of whether the parents were masterful in life and love or not quite there yet. And so that's the difference here. The masculines are breaking free from holding back their own glory. What would they say to the feminines? Think before you act. So this is something that they have had to come to the conscious awareness of, to think consciously about before they could take action here. This was something they needed to be consciously aware of. So because they're not rebelling, and I'm hearing for many of them, they have been, I heard mama's boys, or many of them living at home still, even as adults. In many ways, these masculines may have appeared like they were socially stunted or different than certain, I'm hearing well-adjusted members of society. These masculines may have looked like they were underdeveloped or unsung heroes or late bloomers in some way. They may have attachment issues with parents. It may be obvious in the way that they live their life that they are still heavily attached in some way and haven't fully individuated. I would even say the word enmeshed is coming through. However, the irony is that those who maybe are appearing to be more advanced or individuated in some ways have a different form of survival mode playing out, and that the masculines I'm channeling here are actually breaking free and breaking generational curses. And so you can't really judge a book by its cover, but many of these masculines have been shunned by society because they are a little bit different than the norm. They have also had the stigma that if they were to go towards the feminine, that would be different from the norm. And I can really empathize, because if you look at it, they already know that they're weirdos and odd one out. And then they pair these relationships on top of that. They're like, I can't win. But really, two wrongs make a right in this energy. Oh boy, what would the emotion be going forward here? Freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. It's so beautiful, because I think months ago I was getting so many union messages where the masculines were preparing to come forward, and then there was a hold up in the energy. And now it's so interesting, because instead of rushing towards the feminine, they're actually coming out of the karma and the generational patterns here. So they can legitimately come towards the feminine, not through will and ego and strong will alone, but legitimately through freedom. Okay, I think that's my new favorite reading, everybody. Many blessings. And yeah, I have to tell you that there are still 2 Bliss 200 codes out there in the ethers if you want $200 off the early bird tickets. The first 2 people for those tickets for the Inner Union retreat in March, that's still available. So I'm excited to see who it's going to be. There are already tickets being sold and people are not using those codes yet. So I feel blessed that they're not using the codes yet, but you get to be blessed too if that's going to be for you. All right, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.